welcome to today's video. Today I'm doing something super exciting and a little bit different. I'm reviewing the Jeffree Star Androgyny palette. This is what it looks like right here. It is fake like faux snakeskin-esque leather, and then it has silver. I was gonna say rose gold. It has silver writing. Well, maybe it is rose gold. Well, it depends what light you look at it in. It's either silver or rose gold. And it says Jeffree Star Cosmetics, his logo, and the name Androgyny on it. I really like this palette. It has a lot of solid weight to it, which is something that I think his other palette, could have used, was a little bit more substance in the weight of the package, just because you're paying, a good amount of money, and it kind of makes it feel a little bit more luxurious. And then it has a big, I don't want to blind you, but like, oh my god, it has a, I'm not going to show it like right at you because then you'll get blinded, but it has a big palette here with like, or a big mirror here with a little bit of like an embellishment or like fake frame thing around the mirror. And it's actually a really nice mirror. It is really like, it's clear. It doesn't morph anything and make it look weird. It's really nice. And then the palette itself looks like this, and it's 10 shades. And when I first saw this palette, I was like, this is the like perfect fall palette. All of the colors are very, in my opinion, fall oriented, but you can wear any time of year. But when I saw this, I was like, fall, palette for fall. And a little blurb about it from the website. It is $45. It is vegan as well as cruelty free, and what that means is the vegan aspect is not made with any animal products, and cruelty free means it is not tested on any animals. And the Androgyny palette is our version of a neutral palette. Endless possibilities to create and explore. Expands our two finishes, super mattes and metallic. 10 jaw-dropping shades, extreme pigment. And it is actually available on the Jeffree Star website right now, which I think is pretty cool because usually his things sell out super quickly. So he definitely made enough for everyone to have and go around. So if you're interested in this, after this video, you can go and check it out. And like I said, it's $45, 10 shades, but they're very big eyeshadows. I have another palette here I can show you in relation. So this is what his shadows look like. And then here is a MAC single shadow. So then in relation to that, it's quite a bit bigger. And then here, for example, is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Romance palette. So you can see the kind of relational size. They are really big, almost like 3 or 4 of these shadows in here. And I am going to go into swatches right now, and then I am going to show you how I did this eye look, and then at the very end I will give you my final thoughts and opinions. Okay guys, so we're going to start off with frosting. It's a great shimmery gold color. It's not super pigmented on either swatch, but with a little fix plus, as you'll see in my demo, it does have great pigment. And then Safe Word is my favorite transition shade in this palette. It has great pigment both with the brush and with my finger, and it does really well in the crease. And then the next shade is Charm, and it's a very pigmented orange color that has a little bit of a sheen in it, but it's for the most part matte when you first look at it, and it does well with the finger and brush swatches as well. And then Deja Vu is quite possibly one of my favorite colors in the palette. It is like liquid metal on your arm, and it doesn't do it justice with the brush that I use, but with a flat brush and some Fix Plus, that will definitely be incredible. And then Dominatrix is kind of a chocolatey deep brown with a little bit of a red undertone in it, and it's super pigmented and really blendable. And then Androgyny is the next shade. It is the shade the palette is named after, as well as one of his lipsticks. And then Fetish is the next shade, and it's kind of a Wizard of Oz red. It's a great shade as well. And then I accidentally skipped Military, but it will be there in a second. And I went to Poison, which is a great kind of greeny blue shade. And Military is the next shade that I'm swatching, and it's a kind of like a baby puke green, which personally I really enjoy. And then Swallow is the last shade in the palette, and I think probably the most patchy of all of them. It doesn't have super great pigmentation, but it does do well on the eye. Okay, so now it's time for the tutorial. I am putting some Urban Decay Primer Potion on my eyes and blending that out, and then setting it with a little bit of some white powder. And then I'm going into Safe Word for the crease, and I'm just blending that into that general area. I'm not being super precise with it, just kind of getting something down and making sure it's a good setup for my other shades. And I kind of check the angles and everything, and then I go into Poison, and I put that mostly in the crease. I try not to go too low or too high with that on the outer corner, and then the crease is where I'm focusing that shade, and I'm almost overlaying it with Safe Word. I'm just kind of using this to darken up the crease, and then I'm going back in with Safe Word and blending it to make sure there's no harsh edges. And then I'm going in with Swallow, and I'm focusing that on the outer corner and crease again. So I kind of have a gradient between Safe Word, Poison, and Swallow. Then I'm going back in with Poison and darkening things up a little bit. And then going in with Frosting and going to put this really awesome gold shade in the center of the eye. Then I'm going to go in with Fetish, which, like I said, was one of my favorite shades in the palette. And I'm going underneath my lower lash line with that and taking it up to the outer crease. And then blending that again with a soft, pointy, small brush. And then I'm going in with a Jeffree Star highlighter, Ice Cold, and I'm highlighting my upper brow and my inner corner, and then some mascara. And this is the final look. Okay guys, so that is how I did this eye look right here. And if you want to see what else I wore on my face, that will be in the description box below. And anyway, so my final thoughts on this eyeshadow palette. I think for $45 you get a lot of really interesting, cool shades that you might not necessarily get in other palettes. This is definitely something that's very unique. And then this Fetish shade is beautiful with that kind of micro glitter, even though it's matte, it has that little bit of sheen to it. It's not necessarily a metallic, but it's not pure matte either. And then Safe Word is an amazing initial crease color. Same thing with Charm, which also has that little bit of sheen in it. And Dominatrix and Frosting are also great shades. So for my final thoughts on the wear and pigmentation of the palette. So I've gotten a chance to wear all of these shades now. For my thoughts in general, it wore really well. It didn't crease. It blended really nicely. It had great, what did I say? I don't know. It had great pigmentation. It blended really well. It lasted a long time. Like I said, I put it on probably around 7:30 or 8 to go to work, and then I took it off last night around like 9, and it had faded an ever so slight bit, but I had been rubbing my eyes from allergies and things like that, and it didn't smear everywhere, and it didn't kind of just like fade off to nothing. So it did look really nice still. It stayed on my lower lash line. It did a really great job. So if I had to recommend this palette, I totally would. It is, in my opinion, a great buy for $45. There's tons of eyeshadow palettes out there that are honestly more than that. And I think that it is a great buy, especially because the shades are so big and so mumbo. And so it's $45 for 10 shades. And honestly, that's cheaper per shadow than getting 10 like Makeup Geek or MAC shadows or anything like that. So that is my final thoughts on the palette. I think if you don't have this and you are really intrigued by these kind of fall colors, then definitely go out or I guess go into your computer or your phone and check this one out. And so I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and go down below and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.